Okay, gentlemen, you are live.
Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the Board of County Commissioners meeting for October 26th. Would you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first thing we have on our agenda are the minutes. Gentlemen, do you have any additions, corrections, or anything to talk about?
No, I don't. I move we approve the minutes from the session. It says October 9th. That's not right. October 19th, 2021.
I'll second it.
Right at the top there. It's Gina, I didn't even click.
It was just out of the clip.
Yeah.
So it's been moved and seconded to accept the proceedings of the Board of Commissioners, Montezuma County, October 19th, 2021. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, next, Sherry, Jane, and Dawn, we have planning.
They're going into executive session to talk about it.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So today we have the special use permit that was approved for Cortez Solar 3 on the fish property south of town. We need to have that document signed.
Okay, do you,
Special pen?
all three of us?
And Miss Kim?
And the other item that we have concerning an administrative adjustment to one item on the land use code. It's item 24 of the threshold standards. And we'll need to run this by Ian, I guess, as far as procedural. So in it affects lighting. The first half, all direct rays confined to the site and adjacent properties, which is fine and applicable. But then it says protected from glare. And, I mean, glare is ambiguous. It's subjective and there's no way to measure it. So I'm not sure if glare can be in there because there's no way to measure it. There's no way to address it.
And so your question is?
If we could just strike that part out of line item 24.
I think where Don is headed is if you look at the noise right next to it, 25, that can actually be measured by decibels by a decimeter, which is, since you bring that up, I'm going to bring up number 25 also.
Okay.
But when you just say protected from glare, how do you measure glare? At nighttime, you can get glare off of a light off of Mesa Verde that shines into Cortez. Now, obviously, it's for a brief moment, but how do you, any place in the county and coming into town, there's glare.
Yeah.
lights give off glare. So how do we measure that?
Well,
The percentage of a glare that would be
yeah.
disruptive.
Well, it certainly is ambiguous, and I understand that. I think that there is a purpose in that sense that there's not going to be at least some glare going onto other properties. My preference would be, I think it's something that we probably should look at and try to hone the language in a little bit more rather than just strike it, because I mean ultimately it seems like there is a purpose to protecting opposite property owners from glare. Certainly that was the intent when that was drafted. Now I understand that it can't be measured, and so it does create some difficulties in interpreting what that means. And so I'm wondering, I think it may be in everybody's best interests to, let's take this up next week. I'll look at the language of it. I'm curious what some other land use codes have in terms of that, because there is some purpose to that language. And if we just simply strike it, I think that could be, that might not be exactly where the commission wants to
So if we
go.
find something measurable, is that what you're saying? Because otherwise, how do you measure it?
Yeah, and I don't know enough about how light or glare is measured, but you know, I certainly would assume that that this issue does come up when you talk about light and light pollution and the effect of certain types of light on adjacent properties. And so, you know, maybe it's just a matter of tweaking that and maybe becoming more specific rather than just striking it, because I think just striking it, in essence, we could conceivably just undermine really the purpose of the code in terms of controlling
We're not
light
talking about
pollution.
striking the whole deal, just the glare part of it.
Yep.
The direct rays and stuff coming from a light will still be in there.
Yep.
Correct.
And even
Downcast light.
Shaq, you want to bring that
but
up?
even when you talk about something like
What I
direct
just add up?
rays, I mean that could be somewhat ambiguous too. And when you're talking about a direct ray,
How to calculate glare.
How do you
Click on that,
calculate glare? No, first question.
No, first question.
No, first question. People also ask.
How to
Down,
calculate glare.
How do you calculate glare?
So to not get into it today, let's definitely
Right.
put this on our.
Well, because there's glare studies done with solar panels, but that's a reflective state of light. That's not
It's not.
emanating from a light fixture.
And
So-
I think that was the reason it was put in there, is reflected light, not direct light. Big barn roofs, you know, that were shiny silver, putting off a lot of glare at certain times of the night.
Because
reflective
windshields
glass.
are a killer
Yeah.
off the sun.
and I'm not suggesting that it's not appropriate to remove that. I think it would make sense though to look at it in a little bit more depth and just take a week and try to look at
Works.
what else is out there and then make a decision accordingly.
Works for me.
And the next one too, where we're looking at it, look at number 25, because 55 decibels are basically a conversation. So you and I are going to read 54 to 55 decibels. And there are different standards out there that CDOT uses for 25 that are higher than that, because just a backup alarm has to be a minimum of 90 decibels to be legal for a backup alarm, so that people will hear it while they're in the environment and working. So CDOT has some different standards, and if we're going to use these, this just needs to be updated to today's,
Most vacuum cleaners exceed 55.
Yeah, I'd hate to get in trouble for starting up my motorcycle in the mornings.
well, that's what I'm saying, 55 decibels, when
Well-
you look at it, is nothing more than a conversation.
In all fairness, I don't think that the county can put tighter restrictions on any place of business than OSHA will allow. If OSHA requires the backup alarm to be 90 and we say 55, how is the business owner supposed to choose?
We've stepped in front of a safety issue.
So if we're going to look at that, I'd like to look at number 25 also, Ian.
Okay.
And there are different standards out there that we can use
23 too.
to look
Next
at,
time my
because
wife wants me to vacuum, I'm gonna tell her I can't.
It's a violation.
It's after 7, I can't vacuum.
Code, I'm going.
All I'm gonna say
Well, you
to
got all
that,
the
Commissioner
monitors.
Stevenson, is that if there's no video, it didn't occur. So you gotta get a recording of
And the
this
reason I bring this
conversation.
up is because when we did that, over there on Road 31 the other day in Dolores, you know, we had a guy standing at the bottom of the hill, and then he moved up halfway up the hill, and there were cars going up that were reading more than that right in the middle of the day.
Yep.
Because 55 decibels is nothing more than a conversation. So I just think if we're gonna, it's just one more thing that we should probably look at to at least bring up to today's current standards.
Absolutely. Don, why don't we get together this week and we can
Sure.
go through this and kind of see and
That works.
chat and we can get something to you guys.
Sometime when you're lonely, you can meet.
Joel 1, Shaq 0.
Okay.
For
Anything
those
else?
keeping score. That's all I've got.
Okay, well, gosh. Wow,
Thank you.
10 minutes with planning. All right, thank you, guys.
Thanks.
They'll make up for it.
I think they will. Okay, next we have public comment. And the Montezuma County Commissioners welcome you to this meeting. Person speaking during public comment will be limited to 3 minutes, or depending on the number of people wishing to speak, it may be reduced to allow all members of the public the opportunity to address the board. When addressing the board, please state your name and address for the record prior to providing your comments. And comments to individual supervisors or staff are not permitted, and participants may not yield your time to others. And with that, the public comment session is open.
Is that on? James Parks, 12976 CR 32. I came in a couple months ago and asked about the chip seal for L, 32, and P to connect up to 33.
Okay.
And you guys said you were going to talk with the road manager guy to see when that might get done.
Everything has been done this year,
Right,
so we haven't gotten anything for next year's budget as far as
Okay.
what's on the
docket.
docket.
Hopefully we can get it done.
So,
Because we are potholed up bad,
what was it again?
L32 and P.
L 32 and P.
I'm just trying to see that in my.
Because that's a major cut through from everybody coming down from Summit Ridge. So we get tons of traffic on our county road.
Yeah, okay. Well, he'll be in here this afternoon, and maybe we'll quiz him, because I don't know if they have established the roads that, for next year on their.
Okay. I talked to him 3 months ago, and he said that it's not even on his radar. He's just connecting dots. But to me, that's a huge dot that needs to be connected, because it's a major cut through. Our road gets torn up from, last week we had semi-dump trucks back and forth hauling gravel, cutting through. Probably from Stone Yard up in the mountains, bringing it downtown. So it tears up our road.
There's nothing illegal about trucks being
I-
on any
I
roadway in the county.
I understand.
There are designated truck routes for specific areas in the county, but there's nothing illegal. They can drive on any road.
And I don't have a problem with them driving on it. But it tears up the road, then that tears up my truck driving over all the potholes. That's my issue. They chip sealed 34M and 33 all the way through. So why hasn't this major cut through been done? From Mesa Verde up has been done to 33, all the way to the Mancos Highway. But from Totten Lake all the way up to the highway from Mancos hasn't been done.
So where are you at there, Shaq?
Here is County Road. Here is 32, and here is P.
And I don't care about P to the west, P to the east where it ties into 33, into a chip sealed
33 is
road.
all chip sealed here.
Yes.
Correct. It's chip sealed all the way to 184.
So why hasn't the other cut through route been chip sealed? They did 31 last year, a road to nowhere.
I don't know, we'll have to look at his traffic counts, because a lot of that is specific to traffic counts.
Okay, well,
So
there's a lot of traffic on
if the
that
traffic
road.
counts are warranting it, then they, start
Okay.
looking at it. But Rob would obviously be better to give us the traffic counts, because we don't have them.
Okay,
So, okay,
check in back with you.
all right.
Thank you.
Get a phone call.
Anyone else?
The time.
Okay. Seeing nobody else, we will close the public comment session, and we're going to move right into social services. And with us, we have Lori Higgins and somebody else with you. I don't know. Oh, it's Gina. You changed something.
That was his way of saying your hair looks great, Gina.
Your hair looks great, Gina.
I'm wearing a wig on Friday for Halloween, so it can be managed.
I'm going as a shack squatch.
Okay. Shack Squatch. Don't you have one of those little models, clay models of that?
Not yet.
Okay.
I did carve a shack-o'-lantern over the weekend.
So we'll go ahead and take care of the record of proceedings if you
Right.
want to proceed.
I move we approve the minutes from August 24th, 21 as written.
I'll second it.
Okay, so it's been moved and seconded to accept the records of proceeding for the Montezuma Board of Social Services for September 28, 2021. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And then if you want to go ahead and take care of the payables also.
And I would move that we approve the payables for September 2021 in the amount of $2,126,374.36.
Second. Sorry about that.
Okay. You have any other questions then?
No.
Comments? Okay, then it's been moved and seconded to accept the payables for social services for September of 2021 in the amount of $2,126,374.36. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. What else do you have for us?
Just want to bring up something to the county commissioners today. For some time now, I think you all know and the community knows that we have a lack of foster homes in Montezuma County. And that is very concerning. And it's not just for Montezuma County. I'm talking about region-wide. And we do have a foster care coordinator who's been trying to recruit foster homes in our county, and she's gone out and has done outreach. But I'm hoping that you as county commissioners can also, when you talk to your constituents, to bring up that during your conversations, that if they're interested in being foster homes, foster parents, to contact me, and we'll get them hooked up, we'll get them certified. Currently, we only have 4 foster homes in Montezuma County, and that's not enough.
Gina, if somebody's listening on YouTube right now and they're like, hey, I'm interested in this, how should they contact you?
They can email me at gmonttoya@comontezuma.co.us.
So one more time.
G.
Montoya
at
co.montezuma.co.us.
They can also call me 970-564-4105. I got an email today from an attorney who happens to be a garden ad litem. We had 2 elementary grade school kids who had to be placed in Colorado Springs. My worker contacted 39 placements in this area, and there were no homes available. So these two young boys had to be placed in Colorado Springs, which is quite a distance from their parents, from their pets, from their schools, from their teachers, and it's unacceptable. You know, and it's very sad that we don't have enough homes in our county.
So my first question is, number one, why?
That's a good question. Why aren't there enough foster homes? When we
Are the
try recruiting,
regulations- Are the regulations too much one way or another? I mean, there's got to be a reason why it's tapered off to where it's almost non-existent, so.
I think
what-
that's region-wide, there's an issue with this. I don't think, if they're not interested, they're not going to come forward, number one, and I don't know why they're not coming forward. There are certain criteria and requirements to becoming a foster home, but we work with these families, and we get them whatever they need to have in order to be foster parents, because they have to go through training, their homes have to be certified, they have to meet certain
So what does
requirements.
it take to certify a home? I guess what I'm seeing are a lot of hurdles for somebody to get. They may have the desire and the will to foster a child, but if they have to go through so many hurdles, at the end of the day, they're like, wait a minute, I'm not going to do this. So I think there's an issue on both sides of it here.
Well, I think it would be helpful if they're interested that we can at least talk to them first to find out what those hurdles are. If I don't know what the hurdles are and they're not being brought forth during that conversation, then I don't know. I just want people to know that we're lacking of foster homes here. They can contact me. We'll work with them as best as we can because we want them to be foster parents. We want to work with them. So if there are gaps or there's hurdles to be addressed, I'm sure that we can do it. But this is not just for our county. We're talking La Plata County. We're talking about
And I
other
understand that, and
facilities.
that's why I'm asking the question. There's a reason why statewide that it's tapering off. And if it's like everything else that we've dealt with in the last year and a half, some of these hurdles that they throw in detour people to where they're like, I'm not going to do this. So I have to have a
Yeah.
certified home. What about a loving family that wants to nurture a child that has the availability and can do it, but has to have all of these certifications? So
Otherwise, no.
There's rules and regulations to every home that a child is living in because we have to provide a safe home for those children, whether or not they're their own home or they're a foster home.
And I understand that, and I get that. But my question still is, what does that mean?
Well, I will have to find out once we get people to contact us. If we don't have anyone contacting us, then how are we going to know what the hurdles are?
Well, I bet we have a public information officer that can put the request out.
Well, like,
It's on Facebook too. You know, we
that's the
have
video
we have a
Candy
big Facebook recruitment thing on foster parents. We put it out on the radio, and we're not getting any calls.
Commissioner, I think I can probably speak to some of the hurdles because I have dealt with some foster families in court and had some dialogue with them. I mean, I think certainly a big hurdle is a lot of the kids in foster care are very high needs kids. And so these aren't the kind of kids that oftentimes you can just bring in and put in a home and expect to just assimilate real easily. I mean, you're taking kids out of their family home, which is a pretty significant shift. And then you're taking kids who oftentimes come from impoverished backgrounds or have had a lot of difficulties in their formative years, and so they have very significant behaviors. And so I think a lot of times those behaviors in and of themselves can be a detriment and a hurdle for potential foster families to clear. I mean, if you have a kid in your home that conceivably is vandalizing, I've seen cases where we've had kids injure family pets, vandalize cars, I mean, all sorts of things. So that is certainly a hurdle. Then you talk about space. I mean, a lot of families that are of age to conceivably take in foster kids, they might just not have enough space in their home. I mean, if you have a couple kids and you have a 2 or 3 bedroom home, do you really want to dedicate one of those bedrooms to a foster kid or multiple foster kids? And so I think that's that's another hurdle that we consistently see. And then certainly there is a lot of red tape. There's background checks, there's social studies, there's a whole lot of things that go into that certification process. It's not something that you can simply go in and apply and sign and say, done. The studies do delve into the certain aspects of people's personal lives, background checks, all sorts of things. And so not everybody wants to have the government become that intimately involved in their lives. And so I think that those are some of the hurdles that I've seen. And then, I think one final hurdle, and Gina can certainly attest to this, I think one of the difficulties about serving as a foster parent is that you take in a kid that's had a very difficult upbringing, and that kid comes into your home and starts to flourish and do well. And then over time, the family starts to go through treatment, starts to get better, and then all of a sudden you have to part with this kid, and the court says, okay, the kid's going home. You don't have any more contact with him. That can be difficult to wrap your mind around, especially if the kid may be going to a home that's maybe not as economically well off, or not as big, or not as nice. I mean, there's certain opportunities a lot of our foster homes offer that maybe some of the parents in our cases can't offer. And so that can be really heart-wrenching for families. And certainly, I mean, we always strive to get kids back with their biological parents. That's where kids belong. But when you're on the sidelines as a foster family, that can be really difficult to wrap your head around. So those are some of the hurdles that I've seen, and some of the impediments to people signing up to become foster homes.
It's not all gloomy. We have like a dozen kinship care homes, and that's a positive for Montezuma County, meaning that there's kin that are willing to be foster parents to their relatives, and those homes are certified through our department, and they've taken on that responsibility. So with a dozen kinship care homes in Montezuma County, that's good, but we still need foster homes in our county. The two young boys who were placed in Colorado Springs today, there's hope for them too, because
and
as
Gina, I want to be a little bit careful talking about a case that we have ongoing that
Okay.
we just opened.
Yeah. Well, anyway, there are people who are coming forward and saying, hey, we're interested in being foster parents, and we're willing to work with them in getting them certified. In like any bureaucracy, any government, there's going to be hoops in what we do, because there's so many regulations and rules that we have to abide by to get them certified. And unfortunately, that's the way it goes for these foster homes, because we have to provide a safe environment for them.
Well, I think, and if I could just add one thing briefly, I think what people really need to understand is there are a lot of kids in this community that need somewhere to be. And it's vital that as a community we come together and we all do our part. And for some folks that are able and willing to serve as foster parents, it's really important that you come forward, that you contact Miss Montoya, that you start that process. Because in order for this community to function as it should, we need people to step up and provide this service for our kids. Because if foster families can't be found locally, kids end up going to the Front Range. They don't get to see their parents as much. They lose contact with their friends, with their school. The little pieces of stability that the kids have oftentimes are cut out from under them when they're forced to move. And so I think it's just really important that as a community, if you're able or willing to serve as a foster parent, or you know somebody who is, get in touch with Miss Montoya, get in touch with the Department of Social Services, and do what needs to be done. Because, listen, we all have a role to play in making this community a good place to be, and it's really a significant service and a valuable service that folks can provide.
I think if we cut out the red tape and the bureaucracy, some of that's going to make it go a lot further. And obviously, I don't know what that is, because I'm not a person
And
coming to talk to you, but we can talk about
And
it.
I think a
And
lot of people
the-
don't even know what our recruitment efforts have been. You know, when I ask people, have you heard about foster caring in our community? Have you heard it on the radio being announced? Have you gone to Facebook?
I've never heard it on a radio.
Yeah, that's So maybe we need to beef up more of our recruitment efforts and outreach. And I know Thursday in the park that was over here, we had a booth there as well. Did anyone see our booth there for foster caring? I don't
I
know.
walked by the booth.
Okay.
I stopped and talked to him.
So
And a lot of the-
we'll just keep trying, and that's all I want to say. So when you're out in the community, just let them know that this is a need for our kids.
And,
Okay.
and a lot of the red tape comes from the state level. And so that's not stuff that we're necessarily implementing. I mean, I know that, our department has certain requirements, but oftentimes the most strict requirements do come from the state. And so it's not necessarily things that our department has control over.
Which
It's
the state is not always right.
absolutely.
I'm just saying, from what I've learned in the last year and a half, the state has made a lot of mistakes in things that they do.
Oh,
So, I'm
we
just
know,
saying,
we know
sometimes
that.
we have to be able to figure out how to put the bureaucracy out of the way to be successful. That's all I'm saying. So,
If
I
there
will
was,
come and visit with you to see what the red tape truly is.
yes, please do come and visit our foster care coordinator, and she'll let you know what all the requirements are, et cetera. We'd be happy to share that with you.
Okay.
That's all for today, folks.
All right.
Thank
Well,
you.
Very good.
Thank you.
Okay, Sarah, I don't see, oh, yes, I do see you back there. Sitting back there hiding.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How are y'all?
Good, thank
Great,
you.
how are you?
Here, it's raining.
Thank the Lord for the beautiful rain.
All right, my monthly report, and I got my act together this month, and except for one spot, and I was like, oh, man. So our expenditures were $9,823.87 for the month of September. We had a total of 701 people that we helped this month. I attribute that to the outreach. You'll see that in the breakdown. We're getting a lot of people that prefer to do things over the phone right now, which is fine. We're handling it well. So, and as the weather shifts, we're going to see even more of that. During the winter months, more people just call in and we do things over the phone with them. So our office activities, it was 132 we saw in person in September of 2020. This year, September, we saw 107. So that was a decrease of 25 people through the office. We did see roughly 250 people at the outreach event that came to our booth and spoke with us. So that was a total of 701. We had 11 new clients and 53 new clients year to date. Just the one outreach event. And the claims filed is where I messed up. It was actually 3 this month, and a lot of that was because of training, and the 15 was the month of August. So highlights this month. For September, they've named a new director for the state of Colorado Department of Military Veteran Affairs. And he actually reached out to me last week. So we'll be having a whole lot more contact with him. And he's actually planning to make a visit down this way in hopes to get to meet with the commissioners soon. So I will keep everyone up to date on that.
How often do you see from those guys?
I speak to state service officers a few times a week. We do reach out to them a lot for assistance and if we have a complicated claim or an appeal going on, I do speak to them often, because they're our go-to, they have a lot more training, they've been in it a lot longer. Our appeals specialist is the one I reach out to most often. This is the first time that a director has reached out to me. I know that Rick has spoken with them a few times over the last few years. So we do keep in regular contact with all of them. Our numbers decreased to the staff change and the state training. We both did finish training and got our little state certificates. I was also able to get my VA access to effectively manage claims. So October looks a whole lot better for us. A lot more activity, more claims going out, and I'll be back to reporting more regular income numbers to you as well next month. And fortunately, veterans have been very receptive to all the changes and very patient with us. We've had a few attaboys come in as well over the last few weeks, just because we're managing everything so well with the changes. So that's where we're at.
Sounds really good.
Okay.
Anything planned for Veterans Day? Parade?
Yes, there's the parade. It's going to go down Montezuma. Dolores schools are still going to have their morning veterans program. Lighthouse Baptist Church is having Veterans Service Sunday on the 7th. All veterans are invited to that. It's just recognition for veterans. So I believe someone mentioned the pancake breakfast at American Legion. I'm not sure if that's 100% set in stone, but they did it last year, so I'm sure they're going to do it again this year.
They come put the touch on me, so
Huh?
they're cooking something.
They're cooking something, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. They came and I donated to some stuff and
Yeah. So it's going to be a full day, pretty eventful.
Good. Okay.
That's all I have.
Question?
no,
Thank you, Sarah.
All right.
Thank
appreciate
you.
it very much.
Thank you, Sarah. Go out and enjoy the rain. Okay, Jonathan Parker, I do not see him. However,
Yeah.
I see his stand-in.
Looks like Lori's here to save the
Yes.
day.
It's going to be a sit-in.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
That dang John, he says, just go and listen to anything. You don't have to present or anything. Boy, am I going to get him.
Good trick.
Yeah. What he was concerned about is transferring the commodities to the senior center, to the annex there. And he says that he was going to talk about it.
So the dry storage is the 12 by 12, is that adequate? Because that's the food that comes in and goes out within the 1 or 2 days, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right now, we have about 10 pallets of dry storage out there, and we'd have to have the pallets unloaded and stacked in that room for them to be able to fit. Otherwise,
That's why I'm asking, is a 12 by 12 big enough? Because the pallets that we looked at when we went out to the fairgrounds a couple of weeks ago, those guys are using a forklift to unload those
Right,
pallets, and
right.
I'm not sure that that's going to work in a 12 by 12 room because you have no way to get those pallets in and out of there. So I guess obviously we'll talk to Jonathan on his proposal here. The freezer, I'm sure, is probably fine, but those are still coming in boxes or pellets?
right. We don't, yeah, well, the pallets are, what they do with those is unload the boxes off from it and then put the pallets in there and then load them back on. You have to have them off the floors.
Right.
And I think the freezers will be adequate, but I don't know about that dry storage there. And then again, we do have a cooler out there that we put the fresh vegetables and stuff like that. And I'm not sure what we're gonna do about that. Thinking maybe it'll be cool enough out there that we don't need a cooler, you know.
It won't be.
Yeah,
On the west side of that building?
No.
especially in the summer, yeah.
Uh-uh.
But we had thought about putting a storage in the building there, but then we have a problem with people out to the freezer and the dry storage and having to join to get them into the cars and stuff, and that would be a lot of work. Where if it's not all together, you know, so we
Okay.
can do it.
Well, I think we can discuss it and maybe look at it further to see what we can come up with.
Okay.
I'm not sure the 12 by 12 is gonna be big enough at all. Or it's gonna require a lot of manpower to unload
Right,
things.
and you know, John has a bad back, I have a bad back, and there's no way that we can unload and
Right.
put it in there.
Okay.
And I think that's all I have. Any questions or anything?
No, thank you.
You bet.
Well, thank you, Lori.
Thank you.
Okay, Greg, I saw him back there. Mr. Felsen with CSU Extension.
Good afternoon, Kim, gentlemen.
Morning.
Good
afternoon.
Morning.
Good morning, sunshine.
Yeah.
Yes.
There you go.
So I was talking to Gina. I've got to do I'm a judge for the Halloween contest on Friday. So it's Friday, Shaq. You can take off your mask for today.
Yeah, okay.
Just a little joke.
Um,
Yeah, I thought we were joking.
Let me bring you back to judge not, lest you be judged yourself.
Yeah.
Pick on
Shaq, did you get my email with my presentation and stuff?
Yeah.
We share.
On that. But first, I wanted to start out. You guys are more than welcome invited tonight. There's going to be a MyPI presentation at the county annex starting at 6 p.m. Andrea Jeter has been doing this program off and on since COVID started with a delay, but that's the My Preparation program. She's been working with Jim Spratlin as well too, but just an overall emergency preparation program for youth in our community to be prepared when unfortunately an emergency might strike. And so they're creating emergency bags, or they're actually containers, so that if you have a fire, you can grab that and you have necessary equipment for emergency time. So it's going to be a really great class tonight. And so I just wanted to announce that. Update on the position in the sense that we did have interviews last week, Wednesday and Thursday. And those have concluded, and now it's sort of in a kind of HR end a little bit with CSU Extension and how they work out negotiations between of offering a candidate a position. And so for privacy reasons, I really can't share anything more than that's where the process is at this point. But once I do, I can definitely, I'll send an email out to you all to let you know what's going on there. And then what I had to share today and what Shaq has up There's one page, earlier this year, we did what's considered a community needs assessment for CSU Extension. It's been going on all across the state. We did one here in Montezuma County as well, too. And a part of that, I'm not going to go through everything. You guys have the opportunity to do that and look after that. But it goes through a PowerPoint of a variety of different questions they asked and how people responded here in Montezuma County. Based off of that, I also hosted a Montezuma County focus group for Spanish-speaking members of our community as well, too. And so really great help from Sheila Castillo, who's in the Public Health Department. However, she was my Spanish translator for that and is really tied into the Hispanic community here. So this piece of paper kind of details responses for that meeting. That was really good as we look to serve all members of our community, and best ways to do that of taking in data from there. And so based off of the community needs assessment, kind of the survey, based off focus groups, based off talking to key informants throughout the community, what is in draft form still now is what's considered our Montezuma County Extension Program Plan. And so that's still going through some revisions and just data points and all of that. However, I just wanted to share with you kind of the issues, key issues that arose, and then how Extension's goals here in Montezuma County will look to address that. And so the first one was access to higher education, providing certifications for workforce skills development. And I know with working with Shaq, he knows the establishment of an undergraduate degree pathway between Pueblo Community College and CSU Extension. In addition, create upskilling programs that target workforce needs in our area. The goal will ultimately be getting more residents employed in the county. And so that's definitely a major priority from our office, and I know through Shaq's lead on the economic development team here. But as you know, Extension does a wide variety of stuff. And so when we look into food security and affordability, the goal is to maintain and expand food skills classes to address food insecurity. Andrea Jeter, myself, and others have really focused on that end of if it's preservation of food, if it's gardening and growing of your own food, as things that Extension has always done well. And through our Master Gardener program, our 4-H Youth Development program, really highlighting the importance of local agriculture and the people who are going to do that. But other members of our society that want to gain those skills, they should be able to come to our office and we get them trained into that. Obviously, hopefully we get more rain coming down. However, the drought's a major issue, and the impact and planning for agriculture in our community. So we need to address the current drought conditions in this area. And that's through implementing multiple drought planning education workshops and provide relevant practical resources for area farmers and ranchers to best manage their operations during these difficult times. At this current time, we have a cattle and forage workshop planned for February. Also of doing a little bit more with the Ag Expo for next year. It's going to be their 40th anniversary, programming there, and then also a collaboration again with PCC about offering, that's more livestock meat related industry, but still also hits on the drought situation and best techniques, water efficiency during these times. Mental health, as we know, is a big issue. Stress management, suicide prevention. I'm happy to be a collaborator on the SAFE through the through the health department with Arlena and Katie with the Suicide Awareness for Everyone Coalition in both Montezuma and Dolores County, and providing resources and workshops targeting the rural agriculture community in our area. And working with Agri-Ability, that's a main focus of theirs this year, and they'll be coming down, forgot to mention that one, for a workshop in March as well too, that CSU will be hosting. Sustainable energy, develop a skilled workforce in the solar industry, implementing a solar in schools program, promoting the solar industry and potential for careers in this field. I think Kent's seen me before at a EEA meeting, and just that possibility, and with the solar fields that are going in, making sure that, and what the county has done already, and understanding that's an emerging market and a trained workforce in that field could be highly beneficial for this area. Small acreage, implementing yearly workshops to educate and equip new land and homeowners with practical skills and knowledge for their property. The new position will definitely focus some energy towards small acreage management and really engaging that level of our population for education in that field. And then equal opportunity for diverse youth. So establishing a 4-H after school program at the Ute Mountain Ute Tribe. We currently have a collaboration with CSU Extension and the Cuyahoga Community Academy, where we placed an AmeriCorps Vista member, and trying to develop that relationship and partnership better so we can reach, I think Jim, you've talked to me about this before as well too, and knowing this for years and years in the 4-H youth development program, but it's great the kids that are in there. We know the benefits of that great program, but we need to do a lot more to include more, like we were talking today, or with the social services, is those youth that really need it in homes that might not get it in their households, that maybe the extension, the 4-H community, and our youth programming can assist in those leadership and life skills development here in our area. Any questions on this or anything today? I kind of went through it kind of quickly. Those are yours. Shaq can pass that along to you guys, or if he hasn't already done, you can look over the PowerPoint on the actual data in certain areas. Like I said, it's still sort of in a draft form and just cleaning up a few things for specific data points. But that's sort of when you can look and go, what is Extension doing? That's kind of our roadmap for this year, or coming up year.
Okay. Questions, comments, gentlemen?
No, huh?
All good?
Okay, and that starts at 6 o'clock tonight?
Tonight, the MyPI program in the County Annex 1,
Okay.
so Senior Center.
You know, it was as a firefighter, you had a go bag all the time, because if you got called out on wildland fire, that was what you needed. But when you forget it,
Yeah.
and you go anyway, the only thing you can hope for is a toothbrush and socks.
And so
Everything else will get to you.
get to you.
Those are important for the first 24
Socks
hours.
are very essential.
Yeah,
Very
the right
essential.
type of socks, because working over in La Plata County with all the fires there, we kept on running, and when there was big fires, they would get like cheap socks donated and all of that, but you want those really
Yeah.
strong wool socks.
Good socks.
Yeah, on
are
top. No,
Really important.
exactly.
And a toothbrush.
Toothbrush is always important.
Everything else you can live without for a
Especially
few-
after Halloween,
few
you're going to need a
hours.
toothbrush too.
Yeah.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Anyway,
Thank you.
I might
you.
actually pop over there at 6 o'clock to see.
Yeah, that'd be
visit with
great.
you. Okay.
Yep.
6 o'clock. Okay, next we have unfinished business, and we have our PAB bonds that we have for the fish pond. Shaq, you want to bring that up? And gentlemen, we had this presentation yesterday from the fish pond. Do you have any questions or comments
No.
on anything? Ian, you were going to look at that as far as...
Yeah, I looked through the act, and certainly the act, that the statute is very clear that there's no liability to the county in going out with these. And so really, I guess it's just a matter for you guys to decide if that's what you want to do. But the statute's very clear, and it's in line with what was represented to us yesterday by the attorney from Kutak Rock.
And we do have a letter of support for the project here from Ms. Terry Wheeler at the Housing Authority. So,
Correct.
here is the resolution declaring the intent of the county to seek the, I guess it's an indictment resolution, seeking the bonds on behalf of Fish Pond to go forward with this. And I sent that out with your packet. So it would be resolution 16/2021 or
Okay.
16/21.
And I think my questions were answered yesterday, obviously by their attorney and then by you too, Ian, just to make sure that we have no liability or risk or cost for the bond. And if it's clear in that statute, then I definitely don't have any issues with it at all.
I don't either, and it's gonna bring some needed housing to the community, so.
And some
Well,
jobs in the meantime.
It
so.
upgrades it. There's a lot to do with it that's positive, so.
Go ahead, Joel, you've got it.
I would move that we approve resolution number 16-2021, a resolution declaring the intent of Montezuma County, Colorado to issue multifamily housing revenue bonds for the Sleeping Ute apartment project.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to accept resolution number 16-2021, a resolution declaring the intent of Montezuma County, Colorado to issue multifamily housing revenue bonds for the Sleeping Ute Apartments project. Any other comments or? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
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 And then we also just need to certify that we'll be going after those. So just one more signature on this. And then on this one, if you would, in addition to sign it, somewhere in the motion, give me the ability to sign the application when they're ready.
I would amend my motion to allow
This
this
is
is just
different.
separate.
We need a motion to sign
Oh,
this.
just a separate deal.
Yeah, this is a separate deal.
It's in that paperwork there too, so.
We need to sign that one. That's, can you pull it now? The certificate.
Let's see. Okay, I would move that we allow Shack to sign the certificate required for section 24-32-1709 2C of the Colorado Revised Statute as amended.
And the future application when it's finished.
And the future applications when it's finished.
Second.
Okay, so it's been moved and seconded to allow our administrator, Mr. Powers, to sign the certificate required by section 24-32-1709 parentheses 2 parentheses C of the Colorado Revised Statute as amended, along with the application when received. All those in favor?
Aye.
And
Okay.
then we had a request for a letter of support for Homes Fund yesterday, presentation as well. So if you all are in support of that.
Yes, looked it over, looks pretty good. So I move we sign the letter of support for Homes Fund application for HDG funds.
And I'll second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to accept and send a letter of support for Homes Fund application for their HDG funds. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. And just something too for the people listening in today out there, YouTube, if you weren't able to see this, you know, one of the biggest things that struck me for assistance for the program is for home buyer education, which is huge, and mortgage assistance to figure out what you're doing if you've never purchased a home. So it's a pretty good program, and they are working here in this county. So look them up if you're looking at purchasing a home or you need assistance with the education and counseling. I think it's a pretty good program. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 And I would encourage even people selling their home and buying a new home to seek these folks out and listen to what they have to say. They have a pretty good program. Wouldn't hurt to refresh.
That's all I have under unfinished business for right now, unless you guys have something that I've forgotten.
I see our road and bridge and.
That's right here next on the agenda.
Okay. All right. Okay, well then, road and bridge and building. No, come on down.
How are you guys?
Good, thank
Great,
you. How are you?
Good. So I've brought Dustin with me today as the head of the maintenance and building departments. The road department is requesting your consideration to allow us to add a change order to our current Nancus building that we're doing over there for storage of equipment by adding an addition to the shop in Dolores to help with the heating problems we're having in that shop, trying to heat the whole thing and keep it warm in the winter with equipment in there. So I've brought over a change order here for the amount of $31,440 added on to the current contract number 08262021 for a total of $63,065. Remembering that $15,000 of that plus or minus is paid for by the insurance on the wind damage for the one in Mancus. So the total will then be $32,490 plus or minus with that insurance. So Dustin and I had a nice meeting about it this morning, and he's going to look at this and then take over all the internal components of it, which are very minimal. The building itself is the largest part, is just a storage area. The heat will come from the existing building through some doorways that will cut into the old wall, and then we want to adapt add a 14 by 14 foot office area, which Dustin will then take care of. Some light wood framing, a little bit of sheetrock, and a heater in there and a light, and we're good. So, and it'll all just kind of fit in through their department then. If we can just get the shell built, well then Dustin will take it from there. So.
Okay. Any questions, comments, or concerns, Dustin?
I don't think so. I think we addressed them this morning.
Okay. Like I said yesterday, Rob, the only thing my only question is the 4-inch slab. I'd really like to see that be 6-inch with one layer of, or one mat of rebar. Just because that could change, and it needs to be at least strong enough to support what is going to be in there. And then as far as the frost wall, is that a 36-inch wall? It's not specific, I'm just
The wood,
on the 8-inch monolithic wall. So he's going to trench around the outside, and he's going to place a wall. Well, just check the rebar in there and make sure you have at least 2 horizontal bars and at least a vert every 6 feet.
he did tell me that it's another $1,050 for the extra 2 inches of concrete, which is fine.
Yeah,
At
that's
this point, you know. Again, it's a garage, not a shop, so I want to make
Right.
sure everybody knows we're not building a
Right.
massive
No, it's
weighted
just a-
shop. So,
it's
but the
an
rebar
addition,
is all
but-
there, and I'll make sure it gets that in there, so.
Okay.
good
For
point.
longevity purposes,
Mhm.
for $1,000 now, it'll
Yeah.
be
It wasn't no big deal,
$20,000.
that was my point, I guess, so yeah, let's have it, I agree with you 100%, might as well build it right, so.
The status on the windows, are you guys able to get those windows? I'm just
I
asking
know,
because windows have been a tough.
I talked to Connie Clemson about her windows one day. I had no idea windows were an issue, but yeah, I think we can
Windows
get
are
windows. Yeah.
a tough
Everything's an
deal
issue.
right now.
I know, 2 3x3 windows. I think we can still do those, so
Okay.
I hope.
Maybe Habitat's got some you can pick
Yeah,
up.
or do something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
So, it's pretty cut and dry on my end of it, and then, with Dustin helping on the rest of it, we've got our contracts with the electrical with Cortez Electric, and the maintenance and building department will wrap this up pretty easy, so.
Sounds good.
Okay. Jack, do you want to move down
Yeah.
back to the,
I need that number.
there you go.
Okay. I move we approve the original contract of number 08262021 with the addition of the change order in the amount, well, the amount's going to change.
It's gonna add, yeah, we're gonna add another 1,050 to that, so 32.
940.
Yeah, 940.
32,940.
Not to exceed 65,000. How's that?
Yeah, that's an easy way to do it.
Okay.
Yeah, that gives us some two befores now.
I'll second it.
So it's been moved and seconded to accept change order number 1 to the original contract of 08262021 in the amount of not to exceed 65,000 for the Road and Bridge Department. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Another point that I wanted to bring up real quick, if I could have a minute. We've had a citizens complain about trucks hauling down non-designated roads out at Lewis, in the Lewis area. So Jim, I did bring in a drawing in our approved road maps this year. We do show road DD and 16 as a truck route. It is in our approved map for the county. Unfortunately, I don't have a map showing it on road 23 and X, but we have the meetings of August 4th, 2020. We did discuss road 23 and X and the purchase of truck route signs, and we also cleaned up some impact fees to apply mag chloride to those two roads to create a truck route in that area, which we have done, and it's done, and we just don't have it on the map yet. And maybe Doug and I missed that one when we proposed our 2021 map this year, but it should be on that route. So we do have all that in place as truck designated areas.
So, and we do have the signs that are
The
in
signs
place
are,
on
the
the,
signs are out at Pleasant View, but I was talking to Brett this morning. We do not have those signs at Road X and Road 23, but we will get those signs. We have to special order, but we will get those put up. And, but the people that are concerned in this are very aware that that is the truck route, so.
okay.
So we don't have a designated area or trucking area for those trucks to run down those back roads of Lewis, and so we are seeing some deterioration on the roads. We are getting citizen complaints about dust and bumpy roads and noise, and so I think we need to address this issue with visiting these people and try to get them back on the truck route where they belong.
Okay.
So I did find that information.
Okay. So then we can get those signs up in the next,
Well, as soon as I can order
10
them. It
days?
takes sometimes 3 to 6 weeks to get them.
Oh,
I'll get
gosh.
them ordered, you know, it just
Okay.
takes some time, so, but, yeah.
okay. And then we'll have a conversation to try and direct those
Mhm.
logging trucks in the right manner.
And the roads are working good by doing it that way, you know, so we added mag to them, we got them tightened up, and they're driving real well, so that's a good place, it's a good way to do it, so, anyway.
One other question I have for you, a gentleman was in public comment earlier, and he was questioning the road stability on L32 to P. And I don't know if you have any traffic counts or if that's even on your proposed list for next year. Just to mention it to you, I don't know if you've looked at it or not.
Road stability?
It's getting rutted out.
Yeah.
Pothole.
I took it as he wants to chip seal that road.
Well, I'm just saying, look at the
Yeah.
stability of the road.
We gravelled that road 2 or 3 years ago, and we're needing to go back in. That was some of that high clay content in that stuff out of Mancus, and so we're gonna gravel it this year. In fact, this storm would have been a good one to jump on, but we were kind of behind the 8 ball on some other stuff. But we wanna go in through there with a pull the shoulders up and mix some of that Ormiston gravel in with it, which we have the gravel stockpiled in Dolores, and that'll pull that clay gravel ratio back together where it tightens down and become a less, I don't want to say bad road, but a less sloppy road. It won't be as wet and mucky. So, and it does get a little slick, but there's no intentions to put chip seal on it, no. Just to
Okay.
do some work on it to get it upgraded, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Just,
No, that's the plan, and
Yeah.
we're waiting for that right, nice winter, wet day to go put that gravel in, because it works real good. We did the same thing out of Pleasant View on a lot of those roads a couple of years ago, and it's been a great way to fix those roads, so.
And I had a question. Are we accepting any roads into the county road system anymore?
Just County Road 105 from La Plata County?
Yeah, that one was pushed on us a little bit.
Yeah, okay.
We are looking hard at roads, working with the BLM to adapt over to green roads or accessible roads to the public to get to public lands.
Okay.
Commissioner, we are looking at that map real extensively. James has been working on it, Doug and I, and meeting with BLM, and there's some really neat ideas out there that would take some negotiating to get done, but we are looking at some roads to do that kind of stuff, yeah, so.
And then I had a gentleman ask me about 29.2. Some work could be done out there, graveling, blading, whatever.
I'd have to look at it.
Okay.
Is it,
29.2.
That's just out there east of Totten Lake Road. There's a little subdivision out there that runs, I think it runs
Is
north and
that
south.
I think it's
Is
a red
that a
road.
green
I
road?
think those
It's
are
in a
red sign
subdivision, they're
roads.
He
all
said
red
he said it
roads.
was a green road, so.
Well, if it is, we'll sure take a look at it. So
Okay.
29.2 must be that subdivision on the right side going north.
Yeah, I think so.
I thought they're all red roads, but I'll check it for you.
Yeah.
I think they are red roads in there.
I've never even heard of
But
29.2.
that was just brought to me and I said I'd ask, so.
No, if it's green, we'll sure take a look at it. If it's red, you'll have to ask
It's
you
right
again.
out by the highway shack.
Yeah, it's right. I think it's that subdivision just off the road there, I guess.
Right off the,
I
Yeah,
don't see any green down there.
I think those are all red roads.
those are all red in there, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they're all,
That looks red to me.
I thought you was colorblind.
Good, good.
That's it.
Thank you.
We're good.
Appreciate it.
You bet.
All right.
Thank you.
thank you guys.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Dustin, for working with Rob.
Thanks, Dustin.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Okay, I don't see the sheriff here. I'm gonna go ahead and let James present. Can you text him?
Yeah, James,
Oh, the sheriff.
Oh,
he's on his way.
Okay. That's why I'm gonna let him go first.
all right. Letter.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Good afternoon.
Is that on? I think it is. Okay. Basically what I have here is just the letter that we've put together as far as comments regarding the National Conservation Area for the Lower Dolores River. And basically what we did is we just took the 5 points that DWCD had pointed out in their letter. I basically just replicated those in this letter, so it kept it very, very short and simple.
Okay.
This looks really good. I move we sign the letter for the Dolores River Proposed National Conservation Area to Senator Bennett.
And I'll second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to send a letter to Senator Bennett in response to the Dolores proposed NCA, which mirrors DWCD's concerns. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Just email me that.
You may have to.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to.
Yeah, we may have two floating up there.
You need this one, Jim?
No, just one copy's fine, really. I don't know. Be okay.
Go ahead.
Okay, well, thank you, gentlemen. That's it. I mean, the only other thing I would add is that it was a very easy meeting last night regarding the 30 by 30, so.
I want to thank you too for sending all the information to the board. I know there was a lot of work. I looked at the packet. There was a lot of information that I think really helped them understand. And I was I was very pleased with the decision that they made to stay within their own jurisdictions and to work with the county more as a whole. Whether we agree or disagree on everything, it doesn't matter, but to keep things moving forward in the right direction, we should be working together, and that was demonstrated last night, and I basically thank them and thank you for all the information that you were able to put in that packet. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Happy to help out. I think they read it, first of all, and I think they made a good, sound decision to take care of their backyard first. I mean, that was great leadership on their part, and yeah, so I thought overall it was a very good meeting.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen.
Okay.
Thanks, James.
Okay, well, Ian, we'll go ahead with your report since I don't see.
Yeah, I don't really have too much to update. At this point, civil cases are still hanging on the balance. We're still waiting on court orders, and a couple of those. We have been busy with child protection this week. We did open a couple new cases there, so Steve's been busy with that and doing a good job with those. Still working with the bike club to get legal descriptions of those properties. I did talk to Danny last week, Danny Gregory, and she's going to get me descriptions of those properties. I got the documentation all drafted up, so as soon as I figure out where they want that trail to go exactly, we can get that done. That shouldn't be a big process, so just waiting to hear from her. And that's all I've got to report today.
Okay, thank you. Shaq.
Well, I don't have a whole lot to report. I did spend most of last week gone and trying to do everything remotely, which I have found doesn't work, and I wish our colleagues at the state would stop trying to do everything remotely, because I think that explains why some stuff isn't functioning as well as it ought to. However, last Wednesday evening, Rachel Marchbanks, our grant writer and part of our economic development team, was attending the economic development summit, and Montezuma County was nominated and awarded with Medium Community of the Year for economic development. And so I wanted to take this opportunity to thank our economic development team for the work that they've done in responding to all of OEDIT's requests, to reaching out to Loves and making progress happen down at the M&M site, and for the packets they continue to put out, reaching out to work with all our community partners for different industries, water, sewer, electric, and getting the communication open and rolling with that, and some of the ongoing plans that they're working with. So I've asked them to come in because this award really belongs to them and the work that they've done, and I wanted to thank them for everything they've done and the hard work they continue to put into economic development, retention, diversification, and planning. So, and this one's for you.
I actually want to thank you guys also. I mean, Commissioner Stevenson said at one time in a meeting, you are not, you may be underpaid, but you are not underappreciated, and your hard work and dedication shows that. And I really appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. We've gotten a lot of things done through COVID, and I think we continue to do it and be leaders, and I greatly appreciate it. So the trophy's not as big as I would have liked to have seen it.
It's for the Medium County.
However,
I'd hate to see a small one.
I do appreciate your efforts.
Yeah, thank you
greatly.
guys very much.
Thank you guys.
You bet. Thank you all very much. We didn't do anything.
Chet gets full credit too.
This is theirs. You guys.
This is your deal. We're going to let you
Yeah.
guys have all the glory.
He's at the city.
This will be posted on the 6 most wanted list later.
It's appreciate him, guys.
Montezuma's most wanted.
Big happy economic development.
Shaq smiled, Pete's sakes.
That's as good as it gets.
I know, we always have this problem. All right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys.
I think that got devoured.
Again, thank you guys. I do appreciate it, and I think, just like last night, as was displayed in Dolores, I think the outreach that we're all doing is making a lot of difference, and I think our community only gets better and stronger because of it. So again, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
That'll conclude my report,
Okay.
since I was gone most of last
Well,
week.
with that, now that I see the sheriff here, we have an executive session, and I will let you.
Yeah, I move we go in executive session for discussion of specialized details of security arrangements or investigations under CRS Section 24-6-402, parentheses 4, parentheses D.
I'll second it.
And
I got it.
and I just wanted to add one thing. I just want to be really specific today with what this executive session is, or at least generally what it is to discuss the situation at the jail and what's going on in terms of the jail and some of the protocols with the COVID-19 pandemic.
Okay. So it's been moved and seconded to go into executive session for the discussion of specialized details of security arrangements or investigations under CRS Section 24-6-402, parentheses 4, parentheses D. Included in that session will be our Public Health Director, Locke, our Sheriff Nowlan, our DA Margison, Clerk Purcell, 3 Commissioners, Stevenson, Candelaria, Lindsay, Attorney McLaren, and Administrator Powers. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, gentlemen, you are live.
I would like to make a motion that we come out of executive session.
Second.
So it has been moved and seconded to exit executive session and come back into our regularly scheduled meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, with that, we are back to Commissioner's report. To my left.
Well, this week I went to the Thursday night, the business after hours deal, and got to talk to a lot of the different business owners and stuff, and kind of put in a plug for our survey for our sales tax deal there with some of those folks, and I've been pushing that pretty hard in the community this week, just trying to educate people on where we're at and everything. And besides taking a few calls and stuff, that's about all I got this week.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Commissioner Lindsay?
Met with some constituents on different problems in the area, roads, other businesses. And also, we were out yesterday looking at culverts. So, and in the work session, and I go to city council tonight. And that's it.
Okay. Very good. Mine started off, I was unable to attend with Commissioner Stevenson, the business after hours. However, I was with the assessor on a Zoom call trying to educate the public. It was with the League of Women Voters and basically talking about Proposition 120 and 119 and then 78, which are on the ballot right now. Took about an hour and a half. It was a good meeting, and it went real well. Met with a couple constituents about lights in the county, and those are all land use discussions that are going to be talked about next week, trying to figure out how to mitigate those. We had our workshop yesterday afternoon, which we've already made decisions on today. We talked, had a presentation from Homes Fund and asking for a letter of support, which we signed today. Talked to DWCD, had their presentation on the concerns and issues that they had with the NCA, which we also submitted a letter of support for the DWCD to Senator Bennett. And then we also talked about the Fish Pond Corporation or development on the sleeping ute apartments, which we dealt with that today. Went to the Dolores Town Hall meeting last night. They had their first reading on the adoption of their new building codes, which are being presented, which is the update to the 2021. And then we also had a workshop on the 30 by 30 at the beginning, which went very well. And something that they did say, and I agree with their mayor, is that I think the outreach that we have been doing, the commissioners, with showing our faces and being part of these town and city meetings is beneficial to us all, and trying to get on the same page because they are all in Montezuma County, and I think it's working. And obviously in our workshop, as Commissioner Lindsay stated, we met with MVI's board out on Road 19 looking at culverts, and a good resolution was agreed on with that yesterday, and I think everything is going very well. And with that, that will conclude my report. Seeing nothing else to come before this board, gentlemen, I will entertain.
Motion to adjourn.
Second it.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to adjourn this meeting of the Board of County Commissioners, October 26, 2021. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.